we should probably ask you, since we have you here and you are our expert on early blues, pre-war blues. So we don't play so much of that for dancers quite often because the recording isn't. But it's always interesting to understand like where the blues is coming from. Art, can you give us in a nutshell some things we should know about pre-war blues? Maybe some key artists as well. Who should we be listening to?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to assume that a lot of the people that will see this video are actually into the blues and maybe know quite a bit about this anyway. So if this is like not news to your ears, then forgive me, but I'm going to assume that there are lay people out there who are just like, wow, I don't know about this stuff, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So essentially, my field of interest really is around pre-war blues, and the way we define the two main schools of blues study would be pre-war and post-war blues, and that's a really easy way to categorize it. One way to look at it would be acoustic blues, electric blues. And this is the blues of the past. So the pre-war blues is really 1926 to 1938, roughly, you know. And the post-war blues is anything after the 1940s, you know. And that tends to be the Chicago sound, the electric blues, amplified, thinking Muddy Waters, Memphis Minnie, Otis Rush, all these dudes. It's a very different sound. It's connected to the blues of the past, but it's the difference between the country and the sea. Yeah. For me, the pre-war blues, because I came in at Robert Johnson, which is around 1937, 38. It's basically the end of that era of blues. But when I first heard that, I didn't know that. I just thought, wow, this guy's great. What I didn't realize, as I've explained before, is when I first heard that, I thought it was great, but I didn't realize that all of that other stuff had just happened. And Robert Johnson, in a sense, he was very talented and very gifted, but he was also a bloody good cherry picker. So he just came along and swept up all this stuff. Can you imagine, right? Like, let's say Acid House was big in 1989, 1990, right? Can you imagine someone coming out in like 1999, 2000, be like, Acid, everyone would be like, what are you doing, man? That's so old hat. You'd have to be so good at that style of music for people to allow you to do it. So that's the tail end of the pre-war blues. To trace it back, you want to go back to 1926, 27, a really sort of fecund time where loads of music was recorded in a very short space of time. Between 27 and 31 was a massive amount of music recorded. And then, I don't know the exact date of the Great Depression off the top of my head, but I think it was the early 1930s. So there's a little bit of a dip there. And then the recording industry kind of picks up again around 34, 35, I think. So you'll find a lot of recordings between 27 and 31, and then in the mid to late 30s again. Artists like Blind Lemon Jefferson, Charlie Patton, Son House, Kokomo Arnold that I've mentioned earlier, Sam Collins, Blind Willie McTell. There's a world out there, and I think if you just grab a handful of those early artists and just join the dots, you know, Tommy McLennan, just see where it leads you. Go on a YouTube wormhole and just stay in the old timey stuff and find stuff that really turns you on, and then just connect the dots. I mean, that's all I've ever done, is just follow one scent to the next, and then go over there and over here. We live in such a wonderful time with the technology that we have now and the access to things online all over the place, that we can just go down these wormholes and find so much information at your fingertips. There's almost too much information, actually. So it's really good to say to yourself, right, I'm only going to listen to music that was made in this 3-year period. Just really cane that stuff, you know.